Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today into something I think we can all relate to, screen time.
Yeah, how to manage it. Or even, maybe step away from it sometime.
Exactly. Unplugging, maybe even doing a digital detox. We've got a really interesting script we're looking at called Digital Detox Strategies, Unplugging for a Better You.
I like that title.
Me too.
Yeah.
And it really does lay it all out. The problems with, being connected all the time.
Always on. 204/7.
Yeah, and then it actually gives us, like, a roadmap for how to disconnect.
Love that. A roadmap. Practical steps.
Practical steps, yeah. So by the end of this deep dive, I'm hoping you'll walk away, like, not only understanding why a digital detox is important,
The why.
but, like, actually having some tools and strategies to, like, make it happen in your own life.
Because we've all been there, right? Staring at our phones or laptops for hours.
Oh, yeah?
Feeling wired but tired.
That's me every night.
Yeah. And a lot of that comes down to the blue light from screens.
The blue light, right. I've heard about that.
It messes with our sleep big time.
Is that, like, a real thing, or is that just, like, one of those things people say?
It's totally a real thing. So basically, this blue light, it suppresses melatonin production.
Melatonin, that's the sleep hormone, right?
Exactly. And it's supposed to signal to your brain when it's time to wind down for the night. But when you're exposed to blue light from screens, your brain gets confused.
It's like, wait, is it daytime? Is it nighttime? What's going on?
Exactly. So even if you're exhausted, you might find it hard to fall asleep or stay asleep.
That explains a lot. So, wait, the script actually says that just one screen-free evening can make a difference.
It really can. It's amazing what just a little break can do.
So, like, one night without the phone before bed, could I actually sleep better?
You could. I mean, it's not a magic bullet, but it's a really good start.
Okay. I'm, like, kind of intrigued now. But what about, like, other health stuff? The script mentions a bunch of other health problems linked to screen time.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
Lay it on me.
Eye strain's a big one. Headaches. From staring at screens all day.
I do get a lot of headaches, now that you mention it.
And it can even contribute to anxiety. Plus, let's be real, it often leads to a more sedentary lifestyle.
So, basically, you're sitting on the couch, scrolling, instead of being active.
Right. And all that sitting around can lead to a whole host of other health problems down the road.
Okay, so it's not just about, like, feeling tired. It's like, it's a bigger deal.
It is. And, it's not just physical health either.
All right. The script talks about relationships, too.
Exactly. The impact of, excessive screen time on our relationships.
Oh, I've definitely noticed that. Like, you go out to dinner with friends, and everyone's on their phones.
Right. It's like we're together, but not really.
Not really present. Like, are we even hanging out at that point?
Yeah. It's a phenomenon researchers actually call phubbing. Phone snubbing.
Phubbing. I love that.
Mm.
I'm adding that to my vocabulary.
And it's so common these days. But, the real problem is that it can lead to, this feeling of isolation and disconnection.
Even when you're with people, which is crazy.
It is. It's like this weird paradox.
Our devices are supposed to connect us,
Yeah.
but in a way, they're actually making us less social.
It's something to think about for sure.
It is. It is. And those face-to-face interactions, I mean, they are so important for learning those social skills, for building relationships.
Absolutely. You can't really replicate that through a screen.
No, you can't. Okay, so we've talked about, like, the downsides, which are honestly kind of scary.
Yeah.
But the script also talks about, what we can gain by unplugging, like the positive.
The upside, there's a lot to be excited about there.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit. What can we gain? What can we look forward to when we take a break from these devices?
Well, we've talked about sleep, better sleep.
Right.
But there's more. Studies are showing that unplugging can actually boost our productivity.
Really?
Yeah, and even unlock creativity.
Wait, hold on. So stepping away from the screen makes me more productive.
That's what the research is saying.
It seems so counterintuitive. How does that even work?
It does seem counterintuitive, right? But think about it. When you're constantly bombarded with information.
Notifications,
No.
emails, all that stuff.
Exactly. Your brain is kind of always in this state of partial attention.
Like, you can never just focus on one thing.
Right. It's like you're juggling a million things at once and none of them get your full attention.
Juggling and dropping a lot of those balls, probably.
Probably, yeah. But when you unplug, even for a little bit,
Yeah.
you give your brain a chance to rest and reset.
Okay, so it's like hitting the pause button on all that mental clutter.
Exactly. And that pause is what allows your brain to process information more deeply, make connections, come up with new ideas.
So it's actually helping us think better.
It is. There's even a term for it. Cognitive flexibility. It's that mental agility that lets us switch between tasks, solve problems, and think outside the box.
And that's enhanced by unplugging.
It can be, yeah. When you're not constantly distracted, your brain can actually do its thing.
Wow, that's fascinating. I've definitely noticed that when I take a break from screens, I feel more clear-headed and focused.
Right.
Like my brain has more space to breathe.
Totally. And that's when those aha moments tend to happen.
The aha moments, I like that.
Yeah, those bursts of inspiration and insight that you just don't get when you're constantly plugged in.
Okay, I'm starting to see the light here. But I think a lot of people, myself included, really struggle with the how. Like, it's easy to talk about the benefits.
Yeah.
How do we actually make this happen in our lives?
Yeah.
Like, we're so used to being connected all the time.
I get it. That's where this digital detox strategies script is really helpful. It offers a bunch of practical strategies that we can actually use.
Okay, let's dive into some of those. One that jumped out at me was setting no screen zones.
Ooh, I like that one.
Right, like your bedroom is a screen-free sanctuary.
Yes, or no phones at the dinner table.
Love it. But
Yeah.
how do we actually enforce that? I feel
Useful.
like I would just cheat.
It starts with being intentional about it. You have to decide which areas of your life you want to reclaim from technology,
Right.
and then set clear boundaries. It might even be helpful to write them down or create visual reminders.
So like a little sign on the bedroom door that says no screens allowed.
Exactly. It sounds silly, but it can really work. And it's not just about physical spaces either. You can set time boundaries too.
Time boundaries.
Yeah. Maybe you decide to have a tech-free hour every evening before bed.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or you designate certain times of day as work only, and you limit phone use during those times.
So it's about being mindful about how and when we use our devices instead of letting them control us.
Exactly. You're taking back control.
I like this approach.
Yeah.
I really do. But then there are those moments, where you just mindlessly pick up your phone and start scrolling.
Oh, yeah, we've all been there.
The doom scrolling is real. But the script talks about replacing that habit with something more nourishing.
Yes, like reading or going for a walk.
Journaling even?
Anything that brings you joy and feeds your soul.
I love that idea. Trading doom scrolling for a walk in nature. That sounds way better.
Right. It's about being proactive and making choices that align with your values.
Okay, this is all great stuff. But what about families? I mean,
Yeah.
especially those with kids.
Ah, yes. That's a whole other challenge.
It's like a constant battle getting kids off screens these days.
It is. It really is. But the script mentions a strategy that I think is super effective. The family tech-free hour.
So like a designated time every day where everyone puts away their devices and actually interacts with each other.
Exactly. You could play board games, read aloud, cook dinner together, go for a walk. Anything that encourages connection.
I love that in theory. But I can also see it being a tough sell to get everyone on board.
It can be. But here are a few tips. First, make it fun. Choose activities that everyone genuinely enjoys.
Okay, that makes sense.
Second, be consistent. Make it a regular part of your routine.
Got it.
And most importantly, model the behavior you want to see.
Right, because if we're always on our phones, we can't really expect our kids to unplug.
Exactly. It's about leading by example and creating those tech-free moments together.
This makes so much sense. I'm feeling inspired.
Good. It's about sending that message that connection and presence are more valuable than anything happening on our screens.
And that's a message worth repeating for sure. Okay, so we've covered a lot here. We talked about the downsides of screen time,
Yeah.
the power of unplugging, and even some real strategies to make it happen.
We did.
It feels empowering.
Yeah,
Like we can actually change our relationship with technology.
We absolutely can. It's not about demonizing technology. It's about using it consciously and intentionally so that it enhances our lives instead of controlling them.
Well said. So where do we go from here? What's the next step for someone who's listening and thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but where do I begin?
The digital detox strategy script, they end with this pretty simple challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they suggest just trying like one screen-free evening this week.
No phones, no TV, no laptops. Wow. Just maybe some quality time with family or friends or, just a relaxing activity.
Just disconnecting completely.
Yeah, taking a break.
I like it.
It doesn't have to be this like huge, overwhelming change.
Just dip your toe in the water.
Right, exactly. Just one evening to see how it feels.
Pay attention to how you sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Notice your energy levels the next day, maybe how your mood is. See if you feel any different.
I love that. You know what? I'm going to challenge our listeners to take it a step further.
Okay, I'm listening.
What if instead of just one evening, we try to hold tech Sabbath? Like a full 24 hours, with no screens.
Ooh, that's a good one. A full day to disconnect and recharge.
Think about it. What could you rediscover about yourself and the world around you if you weren't constantly plugged in?
So many possibilities.
Right. Maybe you dust off that old guitar you haven't played in years.
Or finally start that book that's been sitting on your nightstand.
Yes. Or spend an afternoon exploring a new part of your city without checking your phone every 5 minutes.
It's like a whole new way of experiencing the world.
It is. This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
I agree.
We've explored the downsides of screen time, the power of unplugging, and some really practical ways to make it happen.
It's all about finding that balance, you know?
Right, not going totally off the grid.
Exactly. It's not about becoming Luddites. It's
Yeah.
about making technology work for us, not the other way around.
Well said. On that note, we want to leave you with one final thought.
Mm.
What would your life look like if you were more present, less stressed, and more connected to the people around you?
That's the real question, isn't it?
It is. That's the promise of a digital detox, and it's totally within your reach.
Absolutely anyone can do it.
So take a step back from the screens this week. Reconnect with yourself and the world around you.
And see what happens.
You might be surprised at what you discover. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious and be well.